An
Yes.
idea isn't anything, execution is everything. That's really the quote. So how do we tie that in to this idea of protection and harboring over ideas? Like so often we're told at the early stages of our company not to be afraid to tell people our ideas. Like that's a usually gut reaction is you're worried someone's going to steal your thing, run away with it, and build a company without you, as you were just saying. But so often that's not the case. So often with potentially really good ideas and also probably pretty bad ideas. If you told somebody your idea, they wouldn't understand it at all. And so
Sure. Yeah.
it's helpful actually for you to get that early feedback. So how do we tie these two things together that it's good for us to share our ideas, right? And that our ideas are basically nothing. And also this concept that we have in our business landscape that ideas and ownership over them is important.
I'm an ideas guy, so I don't love to be told my ideas are nothing,
That's
but in
that
many
non-technical
places they
founder
are.
syndrome.
Yes, which is a horrible disease. Please consult your doctor if you ever find yourself feeling that way. Yeah, do something. Don't just be an ideas person. But I digress. Execution truly is everything. And I think that in business, all we see is different interpretations of how to execute in a different way from a competitor.
Mm,
So the ideas are almost just nebulous. They're out there in the world and then they're interpreted and executed on. That's what I think is the beauty of business is really the execution, but also that's the hard work.
mm.
So if you would ask me, I would say a business is 80% execution and 20% the idea, but we could also rephrase that and broaden it to be the vision or the purpose or the mission. The soul of the business might be that 20%. And as an ideas man, I feel like there is some nickel or quarter of value to the idea or the vision. So I think that's the spark. So there
Yeah,
is some value, but I have never been the person to say, sign this NDA before I tell you about my new
right.
startup because I want that feedback. I want it to be out there. And I also am very confident that executing is so hard
Mhm.
that you're going to need my level of
Yep.
passion in order to actually do what I'm thinking about doing. So I'm not worried about telling you. And I'm also not worried necessarily about telling a close competitor what my idea is, because if my idea is so good that it will completely rework their roadmap, that's
Right.
unrealistic. Like, one person is gonna tell you an idea they have with no proof, no traction, no execution, and that's going to change the roadmap
Right.
of an established competitor. Very unlikely, and if it did happen, I'm probably okay with it because my chances already were so slim. I don't know. I've never run into that, and I don't really believe it would. Does that answer your
Yeah, I
question?
think it does. To you, the reward of sharing your ideas higher than the risk, and
Ye
that so much of our businesses are built on things greater than the idea. How then do we think about things in our like business government landscape that are meant to protect ideas? Like so much of IP protection is put into due diligence when you're looking for investment capital. Even the existence of IP at all is something that every business professor that's helping you write a business plan or venture capitalist that's looking to own part of your business is looking for. But if we're agreeing that ideas are basically the 5 cents and the business is everything else, why do we take so much stock in that IP?
Yeah, I think a lot of the protection laws that we have on the books to protect those ideas are more about protecting potentially the consumer and brands. So I don't want to allow for people to sell knockoffs or
Mhm,
fakes or impersonate my brand. But generally, it's totally fine to exchange ideas and compete. And we have the idea of free
mhm,
market. So normally, I would say most of the laws are concentrated on brands so that we can have authentic players in the
right,
marketplace for everyone's benefit. But there are examples of being able to protect your idea,
mhm,
like a
yeah.
patent. That is saying, "This is how I'm approaching this. It's mine. You can't use it." And in the world of software, that's a lot harder, but
Mhm,
in physical products, yeah, it happens, and I think they're there's some rationale behind it. Is that a good jumping off place for you?
Yeah.